Okay, y'all, happy Thursday. I know I said how stress would be out, but I got leggings on this time, so you're not going to get too much of a show like before. I'm supposed to be taking it easy, so I promised my husband no arm weights, but I definitely got to get my fitness on anyway. And there were a couple of things I wanted to talk about while I pedal, because I've seen a lot of stuff, and yesterday, I am so sorry I missed out, guys. Early Wednesday morning, like about 2 a.m., I woke up to an intense back pain. Like, lower back felt like it was a stabbing, throbbing nightmare. So we had gotten into the car. We were going to go into the next town over because they have a decent ER. But I had taken a leave, and by the time we got there, I was like, no, I don't want to check in. I don't want to spend hours and an after-hour ER trying to figure out what this is. So we went back home. I got some rest. I called my doctor, and she was like, well, you can come in here and give me a urine sample to see if it's a stone. But I'm backed up because she had come back from vacation, and you would have to go to an ER or hospital anyway to get a scan just in case. So instead of going into her crowded office, we went to the ER back in town again, which was surprisingly not full of people, thank goodness. And I got checked out. The staff was really nice because a lot of them were with me when I had the low calcium stuff. And they scanned me, they took the urine sample, and pretty much found out that they didn't think it was a kidney stone. They said it looked more likely like a pulled back muscle. But when I got home and had to use the ladies, I heard a plop. So, like I said, I'm not going to say doctors don't know, but I'm pretty sure I've had kidney stones before, and I've pulled muscles before. The pain was definitely in the kidney area. But I'm just glad that I'm feeling a bit better. I'm still having a little bit of twinge, but it's not the pain that I was feeling the last day and a half. So what we're going to do is lighten a lot of the supplements they have me on because they're known to cause those issues. And I'm just going to keep on my fitness routine. They tested my blood. They gave me a bag of saline just in case it was a stone. But all my calcium levels are normal. My red blood cells are at a good place, thank goodness. So none of the anemia and stuff. And my white blood cells are just a tiny bit low, but not low enough to cause concern. It is good to get checked out. It is good to follow up with your doctors, but not just for physical ailments. And I seen flutterings around Girl World. I was late to Yaba's stream earlier, so I'll probably have to pop back to get the ERB's 2024 rundown. I'm sure I really don't want it though. But I heard old girl was out there pretty much talking about her health again. And she did that community tab rage after she fleeced her following for money. Because she lied to them saying she was going to move to Canada, and that's not happening. But basically, she wanted to call what she did on that community tab, which she deleted, a psychotic break. And then I heard the Oklahoma heifers talking about going to a new therapist for BPD and stuff. And y'all know as much as fitness matters to me right now, the other thing that's really near and dear to me that I constantly talk about, that it really is my wheelhouse, is mental health. I don't say this to gain sympathy or any pity, but I was diagnosed back in 2003 with schizophrenia. Then, after several other psychiatry visits, because you need a psychiatrist to diagnose you, donate them. Freudian with foodie and shit, don't donate to me, we're good. But the whole idea that you think a therapist can tell you, they can give you a hint at what they think is wrong with you. They are mostly there to assist in your mental health journey by listening and giving you sage advice. Therapists can't diagnose you. It was when I went to a psychiatrist 4 years ago. I gotta get her a copy of the book when the next box gets in too. Because I told her I was writing one. And I know she believed me. But I want to show her my finished work. She was the one that told me that I have a sociopath. I'm on a sociopath spectrum. And I know a lot of people get nervous when I say that because a lot of people use sociopath just to label somebody who's crazy, and it's fine. Honestly, I think a lot of people have either tendencies or are fully on the spectrum. I call Foodie an undiagnosed sociopath all the time because people, they get it crisscrossed with psychopaths who have no inhibitions, who can do harm willy-nilly, where sociopaths, a lot of us just like to isolate from society. We can give or take other people, and a lot of times we don't want to deal with it. We do things our own way, and a lot of times we shut away from the world when it gets to be too much. We have impulse issues at times, but in a good, controlled environment with actual help, you can get through a lot of the issues you have as a sociopath if you want the help. The difference between somebody like me, who understands my diagnosis, who goes to not just a therapist but a psychiatrist, is that people use mental health as a shield, especially when it comes to weight loss. And I heard some stuff in Yaba's stream this morning, stuff that I definitely agree with, but some stuff that I had to give pause. Because I think a lot of people assume that when you're a death fat, you're constantly, down on yourself, you deal with depression, and that might be for a lot of them. I've watched a lot of my 600-pound recaps from Shauna Steele, and all of them that are featured have the same attitude of, I just woke up this morning, I don't want to be here. And I can tell you, as somebody who was manic when I was thinner, manic when I was thicker, because I got the bipolar diagnosis tacked on 4 years ago, so I'm actually schizoaffective. Your mind works in different ways. I had always been kind of different when I was younger, but I thought a lot of that was just introversion. I preferred books and animals over people all my life. I always had my head in a book, to the point where my family made fun of it sometimes, because they would throw parties, they were big social people, and Tim would find a nice quiet corner with a book and just lose myself in that. And it wasn't that I wasn't social, I had the manners to say hello, speak when spoken to. I just had no interest in the silly conversations that were going on around me. I wanted to get lost in my stories. I wanted to get lost in writing and fantasy, and I just didn't have it in me to deal with people on a long-term basis, even as a kid. So it's no surprise as an adult, now that we've moved out here, this lovely place in the woods, that I'm flourishing a bit more because I can be social on my own terms. But it took a lot of work, especially on my mental health. And I think that too many people use mental health as a shield. They think it's okay to be like, well, I binge dated and cheated today, but it's okay. My therapist said these setbacks happen. And I get that with weight loss, unless you're in it for life, which I am, you're going to hit those hard walls. And even when you're doing the right things, like exercising, sticking to a dietitian's plan, you can and will plateau. You may never, because like I said, even when I'm losing, and visibly, because the people at the ER who dealt with me 2 months ago with the low calcium and other issues with the magnesium and stuff, they said, we can see the visible weight loss you have. It's in your face, it's in your arms, it's in your legs. And while I thank them, I still don't feel it. I'm always going to feel mentally the way I did when I was 500 pounds. That is just the way it is. But it also motivates me to continue so I don't look it to other people, at least. That's one of the problems that I think the girls don't want to talk about either. Because I feel like they have the reverse of that. They're in the 5s, or high 4s if you want to believe, and they're acting like they're thinner. Whereas I know I'm losing the weight. I get on scales, I see the numbers. I know I physically feel lighter and I can do exercises like this, even though I missed being able to use my weights. I was going to use the 3 pounds, but he noped that too. And I don't blame him. I shouldn't be overdoing it after getting checked out like that. But you can see it. Even if I'm short, even if I look still thick, look at my arms. Look at those things. But as you can see, instead of shoveling way too much food that I don't need in my body, in my face for this camera. I would much rather work out. And I'm doing an easy workout today, just pedaling and talking to you all about the fact that too many people don't seem to understand that we got their numbers. And especially the girls that swear they're trying, swear they're doing the right thing. Oh, I'm counting calories. You can count all the calories you want, but if you're not burning those calories off, what's the point? Like I said in Yaba's stream, and I mean it, I do feel like at their size, going over 1,500 calories a day, they're not going to lose weight because they're not active enough. And I'm being generous with the 1,500 because honestly, they should be doing 12 like they make my 600-pound life people do, because like I said, they're sedentary. I rarely now go over 1,500 calories a day. Why? Because I don't want the excess weight anymore. I don't want to feel like I can't stand or walk and talk. I don't want to die in a fat trap. And I think a lot of people think, well, you're being too harsh on Amberlynn and Foodie. Am I? These aren't little girls struggling with eating disorders. These are grown women. One in her mid-30s now, the other one in her 40s. There's no excuse for the way they behave. There's legit no reason for any of them to continue to be like, oh, my mental health, or, oh, my physical health is out of whack. I have to go burden hospitals constantly because I don't want to do and take the measures. Man, when I had to go into the ER yesterday, I was so afraid that they were going to find something and be like, we're going to hospitalize you again. I have literal anxiety of being in a hospital now again. And I've never really been a fan of hospitals because of my mental hospital stays. But I know they want to do what they can to take my health from bad to better. It's still hard for me though, because I don't like not having control over my environment. That's another part of my sociopathic tendency. And when you're in the hospital, you're at their hours. You got to do things another person's way. I didn't mind getting up and I was still on a semi-decent routine. But at 5 a.m., almost all the time I was there getting blood drawn and stuff, that was not fun. And I don't know about you, but I can't sleep in a bed that it's not mine. Even when we traveled and we were in hotels, it took a while for me to get to sleep because it was an unfamiliar environment for me. And my brain always plays out the worst case scenarios. Well, if the room's not secure enough, you know, that's what dealing with the paranoid side of schizophrenia does. And that's why I get so annoyed when Chantal pulls that paranoid. Because I know what that paranoid feels like. I know that it's very real. But I also know that getting help and getting diagnosed helps you overcome a lot of that in your brain. You work with a psychiatrist and you work with a therapist to help develop coping strategies and mechanisms to where you can function in regular society when you have to. And they still understand when you need to take breaks from it all. And now that I write, it is a lot easier for me to be like, nope, I'm peopled out for a bit. I'm going to focus on creative stuff. But I still do my part to interact with friends, with family, with people I care about. When we get the pool up, we're planning a nice little get-together, over barbecue and swim. Because there's some of our friends we haven't seen since 2020. And now that we live closer to them, it's going to be nice to invite them over. It is a lot of stuff that you look forward to when you get the proper help. And what I don't understand is why these girls sit around talking their mess, acting like what they're doing makes any kind of sense for their health journey. I'm not even going to call it a weight loss journey because you can visibly see that that shit ain't true. And this ain't fat shame or whatever other stupid shit they'll say about what I'm saying about them. It legit is the real. When you sit there knowing that everything you do is detrimental to yourself, whether it's eating processed food, whether it's eating pasta in the morning, which that fucking tripped me out. You know, I'm not going to say that during my death fat days, especially when I was in the 500s, I didn't do some crazy shit, but I ain't never had fucking pasta for breakfast. That It's a bit much. It really is. A lot of times, and this was a bad habit of mine, I skipped breakfast. I didn't start eating until like the late afternoon into the evening. And I realized that wasn't fucking healthy. When the dietitian after the calcium issues told me, you're doing well, but you gotta stop skipping breakfast. You think just lunch and dinner is gonna lose you weight, but it's not helping you. And he asked me point blank, do you tend to eat more, especially during dinner? I was like, yeah, I get a bit hungrier during dinner. He goes, well, if you eat breakfast, lunch, and then dinner, you probably wouldn't even want to snack most nights. And when I started doing that, it was true. I get up between 7:30 and 8 a.m. I just drink some water because honestly, I'm not good at eating in the morning still. But by 9, I make an oatmeal. I have a banana or some orange slices, and that starts my day off. Lunch is sensible. Today's going to be salad day. You know, I've got spinach because it's easier on my stomach for diet than lettuces, and it's good for iron. There is so much you can do during the day without indulging in overeating. And then for dinner tonight, I think we're doing chicken. I gotta look. There's so much that goes into planning your day. And processed foods, I'm not gonna knock them if you have to get them, because I know a lot of times people think it's easier to freeze. Honestly, if Amber wanted to be smarter, she could buy fresh meats and produce, blanch them, which is boiling them in hot water, then shocking them with some ice water, freezer or seal them. Since you like to spend money on Legos, get one of those sealers instead. You put your food in the plastic, it seals them up, and then you can freeze that. And then you have fresher produce. And it's not to knock the frozen stuff. I know plenty of people who still, just to get their vegetables in, and I did it too, especially back in the day, getting the frozen cuts. But there's ways, without constantly having to have the heavy carb, heavy sodium in the processed foods. People think, well, it says it's guilt-free and it's healthier for you. It has to be. It's a marketing ploy to get you to buy it, especially when you're already big. And if you're reading the box just for the calories and you're not looking at everything, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's the same thing with the juices and other liquids too. I have to avoid caffeine because of my absorption issues and because it causes heart problems. And I have to look for drinks that are under 30 grams of sugar or less. Matter of fact, the doctor always preferred under 20 grams if you had to, because he knew even the so-called diet drinks have that. That's why I started going to lemon water instead, and now the bubbly that has no sugars in it when I need something carbonated to burp and stuff. I think people don't want to read past the labels sometimes. And that's not a knock at you if you like your soda and stuff. I'm just saying that they put a lot of sugars and chemicals in that stuff that I just couldn't fuck with even when I could drink it. It always made me queasy, so it was easy for me to give it up. I think that counting calories only works when you're willing to be disciplined enough to know what you don't need in your system. And a lot of these girls aren't willing to do that because they don't want to give that up. They need those sweet drinks. They need those carbs. They need that constant dopamine hit from putting that amount of food in their faces, and they're monetarily incentivized to do it on this platform. So until they're ready, or until they have such a devastating change that they have no choice, I honestly don't see them changing, because it really does take discipline. It really does take not wanting to die in a fat trap. And it takes more than just what you eat in a day, or what you eat in an hour, or what you eat in a week. You can say to people, well, I only ingest under 2,000 calories. Ma'am, what are you doing to burn the calories off when you put them in you? Because that is the most important question and an important factor that a lot of these girls are lacking. When you put food in you and you're not willing to do at least, because at their size, I'm going to be fair, at least 10 to 15 minutes to start. For me right now, 20 to 30. I'm trying to get back to an hour, but like I said, with the back shit, I'm not gonna do an hour. He will come out of that office again to check, and I don't want that. You know, I love that he cares though, and it really does help because I will overdo it. I really want to tone my arms up. I really want to start feeling like what I'm doing is showing better results. But I realize that just being able to exercise and talk and know my breathing is regulated instead of labor, knowing that even though I want to be able to do more, that I am stepping my way towards better, that is better to me than sitting around shoveling food in my face and going, oh, I just kept it under this number. It's simple science, as I said before. You have to do stuff with what you put in you. It's all stored until you work it off. And food is supposed to be a fuel to keep us going. Instead, when you're sedentary, all it does is pack on weight that makes it harder for you to move. And if you're not willing to start taking serious steps to address that, it don't matter how many calories you try to reduce if you're not going to do the workout to follow up to start getting your arms and legs used to moving them again. And like I said before, because I was Amber size at once, I was bigger than Foodie allegedly once. Water exercises for people our size and smaller who might have range of motion or physical problems is a godsend. The water is good for you because you don't feel as much tension. And even if you can't swim, because I found out that allegedly that swimming is an issue for both of them, even though they're probably naturally buoyant, you can do water aerobics where you hold on to the side. Practice with your legs, bring them up and out. Just gentle kicks at first. Then doing bends and stands. Just little things you can do in the water to help your body build up more strength. And I need to tell you something that my doctor told me when I got the weight loss surgery years ago. You're already carrying so much weight on you that your inner body, even though you feel pain, can probably handle a lot more walking and stuff than even a normal person, because you're literally carrying 2 or 3 or 4 other people on you as you move about. Like for real, I tell people all the time, even right now, it feels like, especially in my thighs and stuff, I'm still carrying kettlebells. And because I refuse to get the skin surgery, I'm always going to have a big flap of skin in places, including my stomach. And one of the things that ER doctor said when he pressed down on it, he's like, oh, I was expecting this to be more solid. It's super soft. I was like, because it's mostly skin, sir. You know? I know what I did to myself. I don't run from what I did to myself. But I love when I go and I show people, especially medical professionals, that I am doing the thing. I know a lot of people at my size and bigger lie about it. We see it all the time in girl world. But there's no reason to lie when it only hurts yourself. There's no reason to cheat yourself and have cheat days when the goal is for you to eat better. One of the things that I don't know if other weight loss surgeons tell their clients this, but this is why I loved the doctor I had in South Carolina, Dr. Balder. He was dead serious about it's forever a lifestyle change. And you are going to get back to our point where you can eat regular food. I just hope that with this program, you can learn that food is not your friend. It's not a binky. It's not a crutch. You want to make smarter decisions. You want to be able to be around food, be able to make food and do things without overindulging, and being able to say no to stuff. I can bake now, and the boys love it. I don't have to indulge in it. I can cook normal sized meals and portions for the family. I don't have to super indulge in foods I don't need. And that was from years of not only having a follow-up with a doctor that gave a fuck, but was no nonsense, but also doing proper psychiatry visits and therapy. Because it is a several-pronged process. Having a family that gave a fuck whether you're here and didn't care if it hurts your feelings about making sure you do what you got to do and just having a true routine. Like I said, my block is from 11 to noon most days, where I just set aside time to do some form of physical activity, whether it's walking, whether it's riding. Hopefully soon I'll be swimming. I'm probably going to do more than 1 hour, because with swimming, I can be in that pool for a bit, just doing water exercising and swimming. Because, like I said, in my family, by the time you're 3 years old, you're getting tossed in and it's sink or swim. And I love the water. I've been swimming since early 80s. And let me tell you, it's a good skill set to have. I just feel like too many people want to make excuses when it comes to both physical and mental health. And that's why I started really speaking up, because I'm tired of seeing the toxic sides of both. I'm tired of seeing people make excuses and showing the negative traits of what it's like to be a bigger person on this channel. There are so many more inspirational people who are doing a thing. I mentioned Shauna Steele earlier. There's Jamal Get Right. There's this one young lady that was watching it, and I call everybody young. Sorry, I just assume everybody's younger than me. This young lady in not TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. They call YouTube Shorts TikTok Lite. But she was in YouTube Shorts showing how she had one of those small personal treadmills, and she's doing her 60-day challenge of just walking on it. And you can see in her the visible changes. And like me, she started out only being able to do so much, and she kept bumping it up, and now she's up to an hour. So there are people who are doing the thing on this app. There are people who are putting their life and their family ahead of making coins mukbanging. And like I said, I don't want to interrupt the girls' coin. Because right now, especially at their size and inability to do a lot of like stand-up work, unless they can do something clerical, it's going to be hard for them to be employed. Point blank. They have made it where they are literally unemployable at their size and stuff. Because there is a lot of bias in the job market too. People don't want to employ somebody that might be out for a shit ton of health issues. People definitely don't want to employ somebody who's going to make excuses and call in because they just don't feel it. Point blank. Even though there might be some kind of work for them, and I've seen people recommend retail, those girls ain't getting into retail. Even if they got hired, being on your feet for 8 or more hours depending, and when I used to work stock when I was younger, you could do 12-hour shifts. There's absolutely no freaking way. The best I can think of is maybe an at-home job, taking in calls. I know Foodie already got call rep work under her belt. But they pretty much stymied any chance of getting gainful employment with their self-inflicted issues. So, YouTube is it for them. I don't want to mess with that because I know what it feels like to worry about funds back when I was younger. I don't want to do that to them, but I want people to see the alternative. You can go to them for the spectacle, but I want people here for the substance. I want people here for somebody who's willing to do the work, because it's my life, and I'm not willing to just throw it away. I've got so much to look forward to. And I think that there are too many people that just don't get that, because they think all girls are the same. And all of us are just out here to play people. And I'm sorry, I'm not a taker. I like giving things to people. I like being there and listening. I might not always be able to have deep conversations with people, but I'm a damn good listener. I feel with the way girl world's been behaving, especially lately, that's real easy to assume that every big person acts like them. And I'm not going to say there aren't a lot that don't, but I can tell you, on my behalf, that they are not indicative of my ass. But that was 30 minutes, y'all. No waits till next week, hopefully, because honestly, I've got to listen to both my partner and the doctors. This is really part of a pulled muscle, even though I do feel like it was a smaller stone and it passed. I'm going to listen because I've really got to keep to my routine, and yesterday was enough of a setback for me. We mailed out the last 2 books on Tuesday. I did a speed order because I was worried that Other people that were supposed to get merch would think they were getting books too. So we got 2 more books that I can give away on Saturday, maybe. It just depends. But honestly speaking, I know people aren't just coming for the giveaways. I know I try to make Saturday Bonnet Lives fun. And I really do want people to come and have fun. But I do want to give back, especially after the week of people literally being fleeced by lies. Especially with bigger creators who promise things and never follow through. I might never become a bigger creator on here because I've got other stuff going on for myself. But I'm always going to show this community who's shown me love back any way I can. You know, I'm not trying to flex like I have a shit ton of money. I have most of my equity tied up in making sure my place is paid off. But honestly speaking, I'm just tired of seeing people use YouTube as a disposable ATM machine. And if I can just show that not all girls are built the same, and there are a lot of us that just want to be a part of this community in a positive way, that's what I'm going to do. But okay, y'all. That was my 30. Sorry for the jump scare. I'm going to go clean up, relax, get some more writing done, respond to any emails I missed yesterday. And I just want to thank you for constantly being sources of support and love, and y'all appreciate it. I know a lot of times you hear that from somebody and then they go around and they show you, oh, you don't matter. I'm not like that. I don't say shit just willy-nilly. But that's enough babbling for me this week. I will see y'all soon.